What's up? This is TSMP, Tailgate Sports Media Podcast, Episode 1. I'm Peyton. This is Devin.
Devin.
Devin, go ahead and talk about yourself. What do you bring to the table?
Uh, I'm the tailgate guy. I'm the food guy. I'm the cooking guy. I love football. I've always loved football, but I never got to really play it very much because I was a sickly child. Um, so as much as I love the sport, I don't know very much about it, but I'm a UFL season ticket holder. I'm trying to make it all the college games I can. I keep track of the Cowboys for NFL. Not my biggest thing, but I'm always keeping track. But I'm a tailgate guy. I was the pit master for the family restaurant. I love the tailgate, the experience. So I'm going to be big on the tailgate, big on the UFL, and just feeling things out throughout the season, seeing where those interesting storylines, stuff like that.
I am the football guy. Uh, I didn't really do much with football. I played high school football like every person, white defensive back. So that makes me a unicorn. I I don't know much about the tailgate stuff. I'm not a pit master. I like tailgates. I like drinking. So therefore, um, that brings me some excitement. I bring some excitement from that angle of like let's drinking. Oh yeah, I like mixing drinks. I used to be a bartender, so therefore I can kind of give you the idea of like what's a cool tailgate drink to have besides beer. And also, I like to break down football for real. So I'll go into some more strategy, a little bit more in depth on the actual like coverages, schemes, offensive schemes, what teams are doing, what teams aren't doing, and how things are looking. So getting into it, we're going to start off with college football preseason outlook. I'm going to start by saying who looks good, who looks bad, and we're going to talk about the big ones and the little ones. So as far as big and little, I'm talking about like who really doesn't look good and who maybe fell off and who really looks good this year. I'm going to start with a team that doesn't look good, um, mainly because of maybe a quarterback leaving. But Tennessee, they lost a lot to the draft. They had a pretty decent, maybe some would say underwhelming season last year, but they lost a lot. And then their quarterback decides to up and leave for a better program. So I, I love the coach.
UCLA a
Josh
better
Heupel.
program?
That's what he said.
Is
That's what he said. It was a
it,
football move. That's what he said.
yeah, and then they brought in another quarterback, his
Yeah.
younger brother.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like when it comes to these guys, I'm not necessarily sure how good Tennessee will be. I don't think they'll be very good. They don't have they don't have an OU schedule. Like they're not about to go through the absolute meat grinder, even though they have OU on the schedule. But I mean, all SEC conference games are going to be tough this year. The real thing about them is, I say they don't look great, but the SEC and really college football in general this year, like there's a lot of quarterback turnover. No one knows who's going to be the stud. Everyone talks about obviously Arch Manning and Nussmeier from LSU. Those are kind of like the two front runners, but I'm not sold on anybody being like the absolute best. You could put name 15 quarterbacks that could be like the absolute best quarterbacks in the and I mean in their conferences and in the league in general. So yeah, I'll say Tennessee is my fall off team. I think last year they were really good. Obviously, playing in the SEC, they didn't have like a crazy great record, but I think that they were poised coming into this year to be a lot better than they actually are set up right now. At the end of last year, you would have said they're poised to be a really good team next year, and they're obviously not there. Um, what about you? Any teams you think about? Any teams?
Well, I mean, I'll take my favorite and I'll take the easy one. I think Oklahoma's going to have a lot better year. They do have the most daunting schedule besides maybe Florida.
Yeah,
I think there's another team in there that I'm kind of missing, but Florida and Oklahoma both have really tough schedules. I think Florida was definitely a lot better off towards the end of last year
but their
than Oklahoma
quarterback is
was.
not practicing. So I don't know DJ Lagway if he'll come in, if he's going to be good for the start. He isn't practicing right now, last I read. So that means that I don't know who their backup is. Um,
Right. That's kind of the crazy thing about the portal, and one of the best things about the portal, honestly, is these teams can't be stacked at every position like they used to be.
oh, I mean, that's
You
what I mean.
you
The portal necessarily is not even the problem. It's NIL. Like you're going to make a lot more money going and being the starting quarterback at Mississippi State or UCF than you
well,
are going to be the third string quarterback at Florida. So it's like people
well, I
aren't
think
waiting to develop.
these big blue blood schools used to do it forever, where they would come in and be like, "Hey, listen, they would recruit quarterbacks just because they didn't want to go to the other team, and they do to ride the
Mhm.
bench for 4 years, and it was a lot harder to get out. You could transfer, but it was a lot harder. You were definitely going to sit here, and so you're like, well, maybe I'll just sit here and take my chances. Where now, where you're like, hey, I'm going rep to rep with this quarterback. He's got the starting job over me, but I know that I'm going to go play somewhere else. I'm just going to leave after this year as long as I do all that right. I'm going to go play somewhere and I'm going to go prove myself because, you know, the NFL is the proof that you don't got to play for some big blue blood school to prove that, hey, you're good at your job,
Yeah,
Um,
the best quarterback
Carlisle
in the
and
league, Patrick Mahomes, he didn't play for a blue blood. Texas Tech is no like scrub, but you're not
exactly.
seeing.
Well, yeah, exactly. And, like no one, and you think about it, no one thinks, oh man, Patrick Mahomes, man, that kid had like was the best college quarterback ever. I don't think anybody ever thinks that, but he came to the NFL and he had the right skill set and he went into a good situation and now he honestly he had an off year last year, which still wasn't a terrible year at all.
Yeah, he's had 2 years in a row. I mean, not, I'm not. I won't get into the whole Patrick Mahomes conversation quite yet, or today even. But I mean, you said that he's not the greatest college player ever, but if you look at his college tape and look at the numbers, you would be like, "Holy crap!" I mean, with the team he had, I mean, if you look at all the people on his team that went to the
Oh,
NFL, not many. I
no
think
doubt.
three
I don't think
receivers.
anyone thinks that like, oh well, he didn't put up good numbers. Don't get me wrong there.
Yeah.
He was that game between Oklahoma and Texas Tech where it was 66-59.
Yep.
Baker Mayfield versus Patrick Mahomes. That's a classic game. But I mean, what did he do? He went 52 for 80 out of 88,
Yeah.
which means
Like
he threw the ball 88 times in one football game. He was the guy running that team. But I don't think anyone ever puts him on top of the list just because the rest of the team around them
yeah, but that's what
wasn't
I'm
great.
saying is like it's hard because you could make a case for him being one of the greatest. I mean, he was never in the Heisman race or anything like that, obviously, but that's just team success at that point. Um, Another team who looks good, even though they did also lose some players, I think I just like their coach and their quarterback situation. Um, Arizona State, Big 12, Arizona State. I would not be surprised. Arizona State, another team in the Big 12 that's looking good, Texas Tech. Those
Yeah,
two teams from the Big 12, I would not be surprised if Arizona State returned to the playoffs. Wouldn't be surprised if Texas Tech made a run for it, made a run for the Big 12 championship. All of those things. They look really good.
Texas Tech, Texas Tech loaded up.
Texas
Texas Tech loaded up.
Texas Tech lost a five-star receiver to Texas A&M, and then immediately got like a billionaire to give them damn near all his net worth so they could go and just stack he was like, we're not going to lose any more five stars, which I get. And I mean, Texas Tech it's Lubbock's an oil town. It's not just an oil town, it's a great college. Like if you look at like just like what people go and graduate and what they do with the degrees from there, like you can sell kids on going to school and having a good network to get a job. It's the third largest university in Texas. If you maybe Texas State is that now, but historically speaking, when you think about like Texas universities, Texas Tech is like number three in most people's eyes. Maybe some people say four if you have like those Dallas SMU homers. But historically speaking, Texas Tech is a really good school that people want to go to, party school. Kids love it, but it's also a good degree, especially in like the science or medical fields, things like that. And then a nut on top of that, now they have a bunch of funding. And I have some friends from Lubbock. I know some people from Lubbock, and they say that Lubbock is not a bad place to live anymore. It's not just a dust bowl. So I haven't been there in a while.
We drove through there in the winter, and they had a really nice Walmart.
And a really nice HEB. HEB with a bar that you can buy drinks at and walk around the HEB and shop with drinks.
Oh yeah, a bunch of HEPs are doing that now.
Not my HEB. It just has the barbecue restaurant, but
The one I just grand opened does it.
it does.
Well, you can't walk around the store anymore. They're actually getting away from that. But you can come get alcohol at the restaurant, drink your alcohol at the restaurant.
What happened to freedom? Anyway, moving on. We're gonna move on to the group of six. Now this one is big because a bunch of things just happened. I guess it moved from being the group. I mean, for so long it was Power Five, Group of Five, right? The outliers, the mid majors, and then last year it was the Power Four, and really the Group of Five because the Pac-12 basically didn't exist. And then this
Mhm.
off season, the Pac-12 finally got their ducks in a row, at least a little bit. Hopefully not too late, but still kind of too late because they lost all those great historical schools, and they went and got who they go get Boise State, Fresno State. They went and got Hawaii, I believe.
Uh, I don't remember on Hawaii. I know they got Boise, Colorado State, Fresno State.
Figure this out. I have it. I have it. Hold on. They got no, they didn't get Hawaii, but they got Colorado State, Fresno State, Gonzaga, San Diego State, Utah State, Boise State. So it's really just like the Pac states is really what happened. Texas State,
Yeah, Pac State, Mountain West 2.0.
yeah,
It's
I don't know. So here's the thing here's my thing is I think it was a Pac-12 with Pac-12's funding, right? Is not the best, but it's not worse than the Sun Belt. It's not worse than it might be on par with the American, right? Like if you think about funding wise, maybe it's a little better than the American. I haven't actually gotten into the details. But these schools, like in these areas, are not in bad areas. Like they're poised to be successful. You also have teams like Texas State is going to now get exposure all up and down the West Coast, all up and down the I guess the mountain air the mountain time zone. And so these are areas that these schools probably like I know for a fact Texas State has recruited in California, but they don't get a heavy recruiting hand there. But now they have exposure out there. They have natural they so they're going to be out there in front of people. Hopefully, it's going to be easier for them to recruit kids now in those areas and build relationships with coaches, which is important in recruiting, right? And so and now they're getting more. Texas State is a huge school. I think it is the maybe the fourth largest school in Texas. But Texas State's a huge school. On top of that, they have a lot of very wealthy alumni for NIL, right? Like when you think about like history, like the longer school's been around, the more likely you're going to hit on a rich alumni that's going to flood your college football program with money. Texas State's been around for a long time. They have rich alumni. You went to a tailgate with them last year. You saw it's kind of they party hard.
I went to the UTSA Texas State game in San Marcos last year, and that thing was jumping and it was packed,
Yeah. See, and that's a
absolutely
rivalry
packed.
game. And the thing about Texas State and UTSA, Texas State was smart. UTSA brand exploded because of just I mean, obviously, Coach Trailer, it's a big town. They have a lot going on for them. So UTSA's brand exploded, and it felt like Texas State used UTSA's brand and a smart coaching hire in GJ Kinney, and they coupled that and bounced that rivalry off, and
Mhm.
basically kind of are in a way selling each other. Like if you can sell a really nice badass rivalry environment, like where you go There's 30, 40,000 people in the stands. Uh, and it doesn't even have to be that much. It just has to be loud and packed and crazy and bigger than whatever that kid's experiencing in college. When I was in high school, I went on some college visits. Obviously, they're like D3, like terrible colleges. And there's 50 people in the stands. And in my head, I'm just looking at this going, I play
There's
in
more
front of
people.
I play in
There's
front of
you're playing in
12,000
front of five or
people.
6,000 people easy.
I mean, I played most of my games were in front of at least 10,000 people. How am I going to go to this where I can hear the other coach yelling at the player for not filling the right gap on the opposite sideline? I was like, what the hell? I went to one of my visits was to Southwestern here in Georgetown, and I remember that was like first year of having a football program, maybe second year of having a football program. And I remember we were playing at a high school field. There was 12 parents in the stands. They gave us like a press pass, like a pass to be on the sideline. And then they're like, oh, you guys can't stay down here for the whole game. You'll have to go to the stands and watch the game. I remember we went up to stands. It's like into the first quarter, and we were like, let's get out of here. This sucks, right? So like when you go on visits like that, you don't want to be there. And there are Division 1 college football teams that have lethargic crowds.
Yep.
So you have, especially if you have that rivalry game at home that year, and you can sell that to recruits, that is going to be a bonus. And then you have I mean, Texas State is just poised to explode. I'm not saying they're going to be Texas A&M, Texas, or even Texas Tech, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're the next TCU. I wouldn't be surprised if UTSA has the same situation. I wouldn't be surprised if the state of Texas has 10 really good college football teams because that's not even considering
Yeah.
the FCS teams, right? Like you have a lot going on there. And then I mean the rest, Washington State, as much as people like to like clown Washington State or whatever, like it's never really taken that seriously. Washington State's a good football school. They put out good talent, and realistically, like they're Washington State is one of those teams that they're a coach away from being really good because the environment out there is electric. It's a really cool. I mean, it's smaller stadium, all those things, but really cool environment. Washington's a very beautiful state. Like you can sell it, And then all these teams, San Diego State, incredible place to sell kids to go to play college football. Snapdragon
Oh hell yeah.
Stadium, where they play at, is 33,000, state of the art, right? Like you have a lot going for you if you're most of those schools. Like the only school I can think of in that group that's not like poised for, I mean, I guess Gonzaga's in the group and Gonzaga doesn't have football. So that's the only
I
one.
mean,
But like Colorado State,
Utah State might be a tough one.
Utah State, Colorado State are always going to be tough to recruit to because
Well, Colorado State with kind of like the revival of this rivalry with Colorado. It's always been there, but with Colorado getting so much press now, it's just like it used to be like, oh yeah, we play Colorado in a couple weeks. They're our rival. We'll take it real serious. And now it's like we're gonna beat those motherfuckers to death. We're
yeah,
gonna beat that.
yeah. So getting into it, moving on from the Pac-12, the best Group of Six conference is not the Pac-12, in my opinion. They're good, they're
Yeah,
decent, but it's not the Pac-12. It's obviously going to be the American. I feel like the American. I feel like we've talked about this before. I feel like the American is like the like tryout conference for teams. They go to the American to try and make it into a power 4 conference. Like they go there, they want to sell themselves and be like, hey, we can play with the big dogs. And yeah, I just feel like I feel like the American is going to be the best conference in that situation every time. Like
yeah,
all Mountain West last year was really well. I shouldn't even say that. The Mountain West had Boise State last year with Ashton Genty, which made the Mountain West look really good. And they had UNLV. I'm not going to sell UNLV short, but
UNLV had a good year too.
yeah. So you have all these teams that are poised for in the American, I should say. You have all these teams that are poised to just take that next step. UTSA, we talked about them.
Yeah.
Um, I just Tulane, who we can get into to Tulane a little bit. I mean, yeah, they get poached, but Tulane in the last 5 years has just been like I'm not saying reload. They're not reloading their the big guns, but they've always got rounds. They've always got people to go. Like they
Yeah.
Tulane has been doing it. So like um, I just feel like Tulane gives me UCF like old like when I was younger. UCF was Scott Frost originally. Like not saying that they've had that level of success, right? But more so along the lines of like they're gonna be good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I get that feeling from a few American Conference teams, and then the rest of the conferences like Pac-12 really just is Boise State. And I mean, I guess all that stuff I talk about Texas State, like yeah, they could be good, but again, that's unproven, and they're going to play a much tougher conference than they were playing in the Sun Belt. Who, again, I'll actually say this about Sun Belt. I think the Sun Belt is probably the third best conference in the group of five, or not the group of five, group of six teams. And I don't know if it's that's big of a distance between them. I think the Sun Belt was mocked for a long time, but I think the Sun Belt coaches do really good at going out, getting underdog recruits and developing them and people that like, oh, he's too small to play quarterback or too small to do this, and then they turn out to be absolute studs. Especially they're
Yeah.
looking in the Southeast, which is where I mean the Southeast of I mean Southeast and Texas, I should say, is where you're going to get probably 70% of Division I college athletes are college football players, I would imagine. I could be wrong. I know California puts out a lot, but other than California on the
I
West Coast,
mean, California, the Great Lakes area, you're going to have a lot of guys. You'll get a
Ohio,
good
yeah,
chunk from Pennsylvania. But from, I mean, North Carolina, you just follow the coast all the way down to Texas. That's where you're going to get most of your guys.
yeah. And I mean, that's proves in if you look at rosters and how they're what they're built up out of, like from where, a lot of times you're just going to see Mississippi, Louisiana, Florida, Texas, maybe one or two California guys, but it's going to be a lot of Southeast from North Carolina down to Texas on that roster. So I agree with you. All right. Next, we're going to talk about FCS. Sorry. FCS. We're not going to talk about this for long, but crazy offseason, crazy changes. Like there's 100 different conferences. The FCS is getting absolutely poached. All
Mhm.
their like you have blue blood FBS teams, right? There are absolutely blue blood FCS teams. North Dakota State, South Dakota State. Some people would say Montana State is turning into one. You have Eastern Kentucky. You have all these really good FCS teams. And for a while, a blue blood FCS team was Sam Houston State. They're in the FBS now. And every team you kind of like University of Northern Illinois, you could consider like a really good blue blood FCS team because they put out a lot of pro football players. But yeah, you have all these teams that are just getting absolutely poached by FBS transfer portal. Their coaches are getting taken. These teams are just getting straight taken and are straight moving up into the FBS for the money. So the FCS is crazy. We're going to go to some FCS games this year. We have some tickets to UTRGV opening season. So we're going to go to a couple of those tailgates. It's going to be an insane environment. Tickets are sold out. Uh, the metro down there is like over 1 million people. So you can imagine how crazy that's going to get. And they don't have any sort of level of professional sports or even high level sports besides the college basketball or not the college besides the college teams there and the G League basketball team there. And if the team does good, this they would I would quickly consider them to be a hotbed for FCS teams. But yeah, in general, just to go over this FCS team really quick, or FCS, I should say, schedule or what's really going on with them is you had some like a bunch of teams got moved in the one team went from Division III football to FCS. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work out. Or maybe they hold on, hold on. I know exactly what happened. Yeah, I think they left. Division 3 football and came to the FCS. That's not bad. I mean, they could be good. I don't, but I doubt it. Division 3 football and FCS football are a big difference. Um, some cool little uh, team nuggets in here. Obviously, North Dakota State is going to be number one, then followed by Montana State, South Dakota State, whose team got absolutely poached by Washington State. South Dakota State's been a
Yeah.
really good football team the last 4 years, and like half their coaching staff went almost their whole coaching staff went to Washington State, which I think is good for Washington State, which I was talking about earlier. And I think they lost their best quarterback. They're like the Tom Brady of South Dakota State left. I think his name is Gronowski. Um, and then South Dakota State is four. UIW, San Antonio, another San Antonio school, they're number five. And then another Texas school, Tarleton State. They're like the Texas A&M of Central Texas. They're a little culty, a little crazy, but they play good football. I have some buddies that went to Tarleton State when they were transitioning from Division 2 to FCS, and the fact that they've gotten this good this fast is kind of crazy. Um,
Yeah.
Another anything cool. Sacramento State is number 13. Sacramento State tried to move to the FBS, and they were
And
denied
they
it.
said no.
So that's a cool one, but they are getting a lot of funding. So I wouldn't be surprised, FCS wise, to see Sacramento State become really good really fast. Abilene Christian,
Yeah.
I mean, there's Harvard is ranked number 23. And then Jackson State's 15. So obviously, Jackson, so that's another thing. Ivy League now, they aren't just doing their own thing anymore. Their conference championship champion is going into the FCS playoffs now. That's interesting because the Ivy League doesn't do athletic scholarships. So I'll be curious to see how that pans out. But Harvard, Princeton for a really long time had one of the best FCS teams in the country, and a
Anybody else.
they never played a down in they never played a down in the FCS playoffs. So we'll see. I think they're going to be good. I think that the I think that the Ivy League teams will do fine. They get a lot of crazy good athletes that go there just because they want to get that degree. And it's a great for if you know you're not going to be a pro football player to build or create a successful network for you to get out and then get a really good paying job and
Mhm.
ball out. So money wise, not ball out football wise. All right. We're going to move on from the SCS. I just wanted to throw in that nugget in there. This is the big one, and I'm going to let you take the lead on this. UFL offseason has been insane. The first thing to talk about is the teams relocating, and I'll let you go.
So the I guess the rumor comes out that they're going to move 2 or 4 teams. The new owner signs on. Immediately, people start talking. They're going to move 2 or 4 teams. When originally the expectation was they were going to expand to 10 teams, and now no, we're going to relocate 2 to 4 teams. And so I started doing all the math on this, like which teams need to relocate, which teams should relocate. So I got all my math pulled up here. So I pulled up average attendance for each team. I pulled up their network ratings, and then I pulled up how much money they were paying for their stadium.
Mm.
So the UFL market rating, the average, excluding the top 2 teams, which was St. Louis and Birmingham, because they were way above everybody else in the market, is 0.8. If you include Birmingham in that, saying, okay, we're just going to exclude St. Louis from all these because St. Louis is a huge outlier in basically everything that happens. The average is 1.1. So the Battlehawks were averaging 2.7. DC was averaging a zero point 0.6. San Antonio a zero point 0.9. Arlington a zero point 0.8. Michigan a 1.1. Birmingham a 2.7, just as good as St. Louis.
This is TV ratings, right?
Houston's a zero point 0.6. Say again?
TV ratings?
Yep.
Okay.
Houston's a point 0.6, Memphis is a point 0.8. Um, as we kind of see where everybody is. So like point 0.8 is about where you want to be successful. So below a point 0.8, you have DC at a point 0.6. You have Houston up at a point 0.6. Then we looked at average attendance. Average attendance for a game was just over 13,000, excluding St. Louis. St. Louis had 29,500 people for every game. DC was getting a little over 13,000. San Antonio, actually, I take that back. It wasn't over 13,000. It was 9.6 thousand, 9,600 people.
For DC?
So no. It was 9,600 average attendance
Okay.
for if you average everybody in besides St. Louis.
St. Louis brings it up
So
to
DC's at
13.
13,000. Yeah. So DC, 13,000 people in attendance. So they got a weaker TV rating, but they got a good crowd showing up. San Antonio, just above average on the TV rating, had 11,000 people for every game. In a 1-9 season, San Antonio shows up for football.
Yeah.
Arlington was a 9.7, so right around average. Michigan was 11.6 thousand, so a little above average. Birmingham was an 8.8, slightly below. Houston was 5,700, a big chunk down. Memphis was under 4,000.
I think so.
Um, so right there, my two favorites to move are Houston and Memphis.
Yeah. I mean, they're not getting
Houston's not showing up. And there's playing. And to Houston's credit, they're playing in an outdoor stadium in fucking Houston.
in the
It's 95
summer,
degrees and 100%
spring,
humidity. Yeah, they're dying. People are dying in the stands every week.
which is Birmingham's problem too.
True,
So
true.
this is the funny part, right? Is I mean, how do you mitigate a lot of these problems? Is obviously 15,000 looks a lot better in a 20,000 seat stadium, and it
Hmm.
feels a lot better in a 20. Like D part of DC's advantage is that they're filling up. What is it? I think their stadium fits 18 or 19,000. I don't know off the top of my head. They're filling up a 19,000 seat stadium with 13, 14, 15,000 fans. So it feels packed. The energy feels high, and you're not sitting there like you're in a crowd. It's like it's an experience at that point. When you go
Yep.
into teams like who is it? I mean, there's a lot of them. Samson is a good example. You go into the Alamo Dome with 10,000 people, you can barely fill one side of the stands.
So I don't remember. It was the Friday night game this year, and I'm sitting there and I go to my buddies. We got season tickets. We're sitting in the end zone, and there's 11,000 people there, which is a pretty good UFL crowd. We're just sitting there having a conversation. Every now and then it gets loud. You look up, you're like, "Oh yeah, here we go, interception, nice." But you're sitting there, you're talking to your buddy. Hey, how was work this week? What was going on? It it it. And I do like the Alamo Dome, and I like the San Antonio crowd, and they will be there for a good season, especially when the marketing gets better and the parking situation gets better, unfortunately. But yeah, when there's a stadium, big domes designed to fit 60,000 people in it.
Yeah,
11,000 people feels very, you feel there, and you're like, man, nobody showed up. And then you're like, oh, it was 11,000 people. It never felt like 11,000 people. You thought there might have been 6, 7,000 people.
yeah.
So it
This
feels
is the
underwhelming.
problem: is their stadium choice has been atrocious. Even Arlington Stadium choice, that old baseball field. We went to a game when it was the first XFL iteration, and I think there was 18,000 people at that game, and it was looked not terrible, but it needs to be in smaller stadiums. Um, Another one is obviously Birmingham needs to figure out a way to either get people. This can be alleviated with one night games when it's not 100 degrees blistering heat outside. Have some night games, not
Mhm.
some. Have all of them be night games because it's in the spring and all your teams are in the
Well,
south. And
help people get to the game too, because how many times? I mean, the San Antonio night game, it was at 7 o'clock, which you get there, you try to get there for 7 o'clock kickoff, you get out by 9:30, but it's like even an extra 30 minutes helps me get through traffic, helps me get out of work, helps me get out of traffic, helps me get there.
Yeah, and on top of that, marketing is the biggest one. I mean, I think some teams are just not savable. Memphis, like I don't know if Memphis has the economic ability to support a pro football team, especially at the level that you want. I mean, I'm sure they do, but the real issue with Memphis is there is zero stadium alternatives. You have to play there, and that stadium's a mess. So people don't want to go there because the experience sucks, let alone the team sucks. So if the team was really good, you would get more fans out there, right? But if the experience also sucks, that's where you're going to have a problem. That's maybe the Alamo Dome's problem a little bit. It's a cool stadium, really cool when you're in high school to play there, but
Right.
I don't know if from a professional football standpoint, especially if you've ever been to like a Cowboys game, you're not going to go there and be like, this is almost as good. You know what I mean?
Well,
So,
here's here's the second half of my research, right? So I started looking at the cost of the stadiums,
yep.
how much they're paying for them. For some teams, I didn't have any information. I couldn't do anything. I assumed the average. The average was on 50,000 per game. I'll save the big one for last. St. Louis had a 300,000 deposit they put down. They pay 100,000 per game. If for them to cover stadium costs with average attendance, they could sell each ticket for $4. Obviously, it's a lot more. They got to cover security, they got to cover vendors, all sorts of stuff. They want to make money. They don't want to just, meet them. But for them just to cover the stadium, it's $4. I felt like that was a good metric. Arlington, I didn't have any info. A guy on Reddit said that they get to use it for free, and everybody else told me that was wrong, and I believed them. I assumed they're paying 50,000, which with their attendance, they would need a little over $5 per person or $5 per ticket. DC, I had no information. I assumed 50, $5 per ticket. Houston is paying around $40,000 per game with their attendance at $7 per ticket. So you have your first little bump up. Memphis, I didn't have any information, but the Memphis Tigers are paying $46,000 per game, or we're paying $46,000 per game. Assuming that same price, they have to do over $10 per ticket. Birmingham couldn't find any information. UAB plays in the same place, and they pay 25,000 per game. So Birmingham, it would be $3 a ticket. San Antonio pays $50,000 for the Alamo Dome, which I think is a pretty good price for the venue they're getting, especially with everything built in, restrooms, the vendors, and then of course
The new updates
you
really
got
help
the
too.
yeah, exactly. So they're paying 50,000. They're averaging over a little over 11,000 per game. I rounded up for $5, but it's actually a little less than $5. So St. Louis, $4 a ticket. San Antonio, 5. Arlington, we're assuming 5. DC, we're assuming 5. Houston, we're saying 7. Memphis, we're saying 10. Birmingham, we're saying 3. So this is leaning on the Houston and Memphis need to be relocated entirely. Michigan had a good market and they had a really good crowd. Michigan pays $500,000 per game to use their stadium. So every ticket going off average attendance just to cover the cost of the stadium has to be $38.
Yeah.
So Michigan needs to stay where they're at, but not play at Ford Field,
Yeah. Yeah.
obviously. I know there's been some talks with Eastern Michigan University, much smaller. They'd make a much better deal. The big thing to remember, and this would help the UFL so much, is while all these teams are marketing in different places, the UFL is still one entity. There is no separation at the higher level. There are no owners. There are no groups buying it in that are owning parts of teams and stuff like that. It is all one organization, and the majority of your stadium budget is going to a single team. They have to relocate somewhere to a different venue somewhere out there because they're going to keep drawing a crowd.
Yeah.
They're going to keep drawing that market.
Hmm.
They have to go somewhere that's cheaper because that's a ton of money they could save.
So Detroit has a soccer team that is building a stadium that will be ready by the 2027 season.
hmm
So if
So I've seen
Michigan,
people talk about that. They want to use that stadium. It would be up to date. It would be a smaller size. It would be great for them, but they need a state. They need a place in between. I think that's where Eastern Michigan comes in. They need to have a serious talk with the university. Hey, sure, let us pay to use your stadium, which doesn't get any real use between here and here. All
Yep.
you got to do is figure out spring ball, which honestly most teams aren't even doing spring ball anymore, right?
Yep.
They don't even do a spring game or anything like that. Figure it out. Hey, would you rather host a spring game so 1,000 people can sit in the stands, or maybe you get 10, 15, 18, 19, 20,000 people out here and we're paying you to use it.
And another thing is, it's not that hard to schedule an away game that week.
100%.
And it's not
100%.
like Eastern Michigan is drawn in 50,000 people. I mean, I'm sure their stadium says 20,000. It's not like they're drawing in a sellout crowd for their spring football game. So,
Exactly.
I mean, that makes sense to me. And it's just a year. And then you get to put them in a nice, updated, professional level stadium that DCFC owns. Um,
Yep.
moving on, I mean, that's really cool. Really good to know. Moving on from that, uh, what happened was Mike Repoli obviously bought in and he came out and he said in an interview, he says that they are relocating two, possibly four teams. So he reconfirmed the relocation rumors. Um, he said his team is going to be taking over the operations and the marketing. So his team of people will be overhauling all of that. And the really big before I get into the really big thing that he said big money, superstar team for spring football. There's no reason it can't be successful. Football is the biggest sport in the state, and we have a massive team with a lot of money. There's no reason we can be successful. He wants 10 teams by 2028, and he wants 16 teams by 2032.
See, I don't like naming that out loud. I think it's a great goal. But when you say it out loud and then it doesn't work, doesn't matter how much better you did. Like, oh, this is the first year we turned a profit.
Mm-hmm.
We managed to raise player salaries by 10, 15, 20%, and we still turned a profit. We're doing so good, but we're not going to expand teams in 2028. People
Yep.
immediately assume you said you failed. They're like, oh, well, they didn't do good. They failed. I'm not going to waste time buying a season ticket. And it's like, don't say that.
Yeah.
Don't be like the AAF was and just fold overnight. Most heartbreaking thing that ever happened to me in my life.
San Antonio Commanders. Those were good crowds. Those were good crowds.
That was 30,000 people in the Alamo Dome, and that's why the San Antonio crowds. People are like, "Where's the San Antonio crowd?" They want you to stick around a little bit. Like, hey, you've done this trick to us before. But I also think the AAF had way better marketing.
Way
The
better
XFL had their own marketing. The USFL had their own marketing. They kind of joined together, and they somehow didn't have really any marketing. People were like, "Oh, it's not a brand new league. It's those two leagues came together. It's the same football you've been watching for the last couple of years." But it wasn't put out very well.
the problem is they have this hub mindset and it was great during the throes of COVID. We were a lot of people were all behind hubs. Everyone was like, work from home. If you want to have a sports league, everyone go to the same place and it saves money. And everyone thought it was a brilliant idea. And it would maybe smart financially in the beginning when you started up, saves you some cost. But the issue is that 1 second, I gotta plug in my computer. It's about to die.
The
It's
part
okay.
where I danced to fill in silence.
Yeah, I almost died. That would have been hilarious. I didn't realize my laptop was unplugged. It's not anyone's fault. It's just my wife's fault. Um, so when you do that in the beginning, it makes sense. I think going into year 4 for spring football. These markets want the team to be in market. They want the team to be local. They want to get to know the players. They don't want to just know the players because they flew in on Friday before a Saturday game. Like they they want these players to be around. They want to go to open practices in San Antonio. They want to go to open practices in Birmingham. When you start getting teams in market, I promise you, player outreach will happen, and then things will start getting better as far as an attendance because there's just going to be more buy-in, and that's just,
Yeah.
I mean, that's marketing 101. Like that's very simple. It's, I guess you would call it grassroots, but that's what Mike Ripley talked about. He talked about, getting these guys more exposure to the markets. I think if this league explores franchising these teams, sending them out, at least getting someone to own 50% of the team or 49% of the team and cover some costs. Wow, then the league doesn't take so much of a hit on the money side, and if the league can just guarantee the salary for the player and everything else is up to the owner, maybe that works. I'm not saying for sure.
Only thing that's scary about that is eventually the owner like, oh, I didn't think I was going to lose $1 million this year doing this. I thought I might like just pay like out 100, 200, and then but it was a lot more expensive. I thought I want out. It's like, well, who's taking care of the team now? I think the UFL kind of like holding on to everybody and pushing them through until this is like really like solid. Like, okay, people are asking for more teams. We're getting really good numbers. Okay, yeah, maybe we start branching out and let people handle this.
Yep.
Maybe they do something where they, oh, it's like, hey, if you were like, I don't want the team, the UFL reserves the right to buy it back from you first.
100. Or, I mean, yeah, at least the UFL. Well, the thing is, the UFL owning a 51% stake, they would have a say in who gets to buy the team. That's what I was saying. Like, if it's as long as the
Oh,
UFL,
okay, sorry, I missed the 51%.
yeah,
I'm thinking about the marketing, right? The marketing you think has got to be there. You're saying they want people to be in there. You under like UFL reach out to me, I got ideas. All right.
Mike
I'll quit my
Ripley
job right now.
tweeted today, taking open to suggestions. So just get on a.
I don't want to give him suggestions for free. He's more than welcome to hire me for more than I'm making right now. I'll work really hard for 4, 5, 6 months.
I wish I could
Getting
take a different job.
did I'm trying yeah, you fucked up. God bless the troops. And I'm trying to just confirm if this happened recently or not.
What? Oh, we didn't talk about Columbus
We didn't talk about Columbus and we didn't talk about the other potential place that I wanted to go. But before we get there,
Orlando.
no.
Oh,
But before we get there, Corey Mayfield Jr., UTSA cornerback. All right. He played corner. He had a little stint on the NFL. He's with the Brahmas now. He's playing in the same stadium. He played all his home games in college. Get Corey, and people love Corey. They got jerseys. Get him out there at a UTSA football game and do a promo for the UFL. Have him come out with a UTSA hat, but his Brahmas jersey. Have him talk to the crowd and do something where season ticket owners just get general admission tickets. Like, hey, here's some free tickets. Come check out a game on us.
I mean, they. I agree. I don't think you're wrong. I think these. I think that you have to go like this. You're not going to be the NFL, so don't try to market it like these guys are the NFL. I don't know if they're doing that, but any marketing is better than no marketing, and right now they have no marketing. That's the problem.
Another thing they really need to do is work on these promos they're doing. They did that thing, and it was the second home game for the Brahmas, which them not having a home game until week 5 was insane.
You can thank the city of San
Insane.
Antonio for that, though.
Well, you have Fiesta and you got the Final Four, and I get that, but
Well,
I
having a
felt like there.
game during Fiesta would be awesome.
Well, the problem is people go to Fiesta first because they tried this multiple times. They did Fiesta and people weren't really showing up because they're going
Mm,
downtown to Neosa and stuff like that. They did an Easter game the year before, which was hilarious, thinking that a huge
Catholic.
Hispanic Catholic city was going to show up for a football game at 11 a.m. on Easter Sunday. It's the only time most of these people go back to church. They show up 2 days, Easter and Christmas. All right. That was one of those days where they could be like, oh, the football games, I got to go. They were like, you're about to show up to church. You're
Yeah,
going to show up and you're going to praise the good Lord. All right.
yeah. I
And so
so
they they need to do more market research into their markets before they try to plan this stuff.
Oh yeah,
They and they did it for Mother's Day too. They had a Sunday Mother's game too, and it was like, no, these people go crazy for Mother's Day. You, we're all about the Madres down here, all right? We're all about it. You got it.
maybe
So
that's the name
you
change,
just
the San Antonio Madres.
dude, get some chocolates out there. I got my chocolates hat on. Get some chocolates out there, and dude, some of the God, what are they? The long dresses that they're always wearing, but it's not an actual dress. The muumuus. You got to wear the muumuu, all right? Get them out there, market the team, get the moms out there. They'll have a good time. Maybe they'll start bringing out the kids and all that.
There you
No,
go.
but seriously, they did that thing where they came up with a song for the Brahmas and they had a band show up and perform it. It was decent. The performance was good. The song was fun. They missed opening week. They missed the first home game. They did it the second home game after we already sucked. We were 1-6 at this point when they showed up. It was like, you that's the thing. You
Also,
kind of ruined your own start here because you had the first home game 5 weeks into the season. We were 1-4. Everyone's like, oh, we suck again, and they didn't waste their time.
we suck again. There you go. All right, so get into the markets that you're going to talk about, Columbus and then the other one.
So Columbus is always is a big one. Cincinnati, Columbus, and there's another city there in Ohio that I can't remember.
Cleveland?
Cleveland all had good TV markets.
Yep.
So in Ohio, big football state. Columbus is an easy one to do. They got the stadium set up. You get there, people want to come watch football. The weather's going to generally be nicer this time of year. People will show up. That's a great market. And everyone else is saying Orlando. Go to Orlando. Orlando's got a good market. Who has a better market than Orlando? New Orleans.
Oh, the Breakers. Yeah, bring back the Breakers. Yeah.
They had the Breakers. They lost the Breakers, and but they were like, we're still going to watch football. We love it. They had a 1.4. It's from a different metric, unfortunately, but they had a better market for UFL football than St. Louis and Birmingham.
So here's my question with that. From what I understand about that market is they don't have a stadium. So
That's going to be a big find. But
that's the biggest one.
if you're anything like Texas, you'll drive 30 minutes, and that's another reason why I came up with this. New Orleans is in a spot where if a somebody was like, "Hey, I want to travel," I'm gonna like, "Hey, listen, it's only a 3 or 4 hour drive. Let's go watch the game." We drove 3 or 4 hours to go watch Arlington play back when it was XFL. Landry Jones hurt his knee that game. We were there for it.
He
We
also
drove 3 or 4 hours.
sucked.
Well, they
They
won the
sucked.
championship that year. So,
No, they didn't.
so
No, they didn't. That was the
was
year
it
they
they won it
closed.
the first year or the second year?
The second iteration of the UFL they won with Luis Perez as quarterback when he got traded in from
San
the
Antonio, I think.
Vipers. He got traded in from the XFL Vipers,
Oh, was it really?
became the starter, and then they went and beat. They were like a losing record team and won the championship. It was pretty comical.
Anyways, some people will drive a few hours to go watch a team play.
Yeah,
If you put a team in Orlando, there's nobody close enough for that drive besides people that are wanting, like, besides the home crowd. New Orleans, it's closer to San Antonio, it's closer to Birmingham, it's closer to if like Houston, assuming Houston and Memphis aren't going to still be there, it's close enough. It's closer to Arlington. It's close enough where people might still make that drive. And it's New Orleans. People will show up for things outside of the football. Like, hey, they have a
yeah, you
football
can build
game.
a trip around the game. I get what you're saying.
Yep,
I
yep.
think that the big issue with that is they don't have a stadium yet. There's talks about them building the Shriner. It's like a old baseball field, turning it into a stadium. Tulane's building its own stadium. They're not going to play in the Superdome anymore. So, or the Mercedes, whatever it is. I think it's the Superdome, wherever they play. Um, that's one's. They need a stadium first, and I don't think that stadium exists yet. When it does, I'm all for it. I think that when you get those like what Las Vegas is to the NFL, and I guess New Orleans Saints as well, is you get these destination towns that people can go and do things like plan a trip around, going to a game and doing a bunch of other things. It makes it a lot easier to do that when tickets are affordable. So you don't have to blow your budget on just the game. So hopefully,
Right.
hopefully that the UFL thinks about that. And because I would love to go to a game in Orlando if I had kids, go to a game in Orlando on a Saturday, but on the Friday and Thursday before, I take my kids to Disney, get them freaking tired. Then I take them to the game on Saturday, and they're not running around the stadium asking me for cotton candy the whole.
I think you vastly underestimate the ability of a child to be annoying in general.
It's a good point. I don't think kids.
My scenario, same scenario, good Lord willing, I have some kids soon. I just don't bring the kids on the trip. I get down there Thursday, we go fishing, we hit the beach, we're hitting casinos and stuff like that. We're gambling, we're doing whatever. Saturday, we hit the game. Sunday, we fly home.
It's not a bad ordeal.
I
Okay,
don't know if
so
there's a casino near Orlando, but I know there's something around there.
yeah. So in that talking about stadium, Columbus has secured a stadium. So everyone's saying it's going to be Memphis that moves to Columbus. Could be Houston. I think Memphis and Houston are for sure moving. Uh, and
I mean, I think it's got to happen. If Houston's not showing up for that crowd or for that
yeah,
team, Memphis is worse.
yeah.
And some of it might just be the level of play that's coming from those teams.
Hmm.
I do think some of it is the marketing, but I mean, the San Antonio crowd kind of stayed on top of it. St. Louis obviously stayed on top of it.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot easier when you have that continuation from, oh, we were this team, now we're this team. I think it's a little bit easier when you have that continuation. Um, but it's just they're nobody in the market's really watching, or not enough people in the market are watching it, and not enough people are actually attending the games.
Yep.
And at some point, go to these places that are really watching these games and like, hey, you guys have been loyal even when you didn't have a team. Here you go. Here's your team.
Hmm. All right. So moving on to the NFL. Really? So we're gonna Micah Parsons, Scary Terry. They requested trades. Um, they, I mean, I'll make the NFL section short. I'm just gonna say this about trade requests. Jerry Jones. I'm not even a Cowboys fan. Our whole family's Cowboys fans. I'm not. Jerry Jones he would rather his team burn on his watch than them succeed on someone else's. So he will he will go on TV and absolutely trash someone
His
that
own players,
what? Well, his own
his own
players
players.
that could literally handshake him to death, and he will say hey, he's like a Wild West businessman that has failed forward so far that he's in a position and he's just not equipped to handle it. Um, I hope that they don't sign Micah Parsons. I hope he goes somewhere else because I want to see Dallas absolutely be terrible this year. I would love for
Well,
nothing less.
He stuck with us for the year. He's stuck with us for the year.
Well, I mean,
The
at some
problem is
point, trade him for a
you
pass
started shit
rusher. Then,
talking your guy. The best situation is to sign him early. Like, hey, sign him early before they just keep getting better and better.
yeah,
You know,
this dude is. Yeah, he is. He's like stuck in the early 2000s way of thinking. He's not moved forward with the business of the NFL as it stands today. Uh, Terry McLaurin, him not signing or not playing for Washington could like Washington's considered like a perennial like top five team right now. If he doesn't play, I think that hurts them way more than people want to talk about.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, Jaden Daniels really like, he was the spark. He was a big spark, but they've had good players. They got good players, but you gotta have people to throw it to. And then when you don't have people to throw it to, you run more. And when you know they're not throwing it and you know they're running it, well, guess what? You stack up that box and you're like, all right, I dare you to throw it now.
Yeah. Jaden Daniels'
Another
offense
big
is something
thing,
unique.
yeah, every time you lose a weapon, it's that much harder to scheme. It's that much, or it's much easier to scheme for defense. It's much easier to plan on defense. I also think it's going to come into his second year, which for me is always the biggest year for rookie or for an NFL quarterback because now they've seen what you do well.
Yep.
They see what you know excel at. Okay, we know they're going to do this because this is what he's good at. What is he
Yeah.
not good at? What are we going to force? And it's a lot easier. You're not, you haven't had a week to study this guy like you did in the season because I mean, you got to take every game serious in the NFL.
Well, yeah.
There are no light weeks. So
Also,
now you've had a whole
defensive
off season to be
coordinators.
like, say what?
Defensive coordinators will spend all off season looking at the quarterbacks in conference that gave them the most fits, and you know that they're going to show up next year with a whole different slew of weapons and tools that they can use to absolutely like you will show up and the team ran this all last year against you, and then you'll show up the next week and they are not running the same defense.
Hmm.
And then when you have really good quarterbacks like Jaden Daniels, you'll show up. Teams have run the same defense all year. They've been in a three high base all year, ran some type of three high, and the next thing you show up and they're running one high man across the like it's so like they will just absolutely change everything that they do well just to throw you off your game because
Yep.
they would rather do something mediocrely in a way,
Knowing that it's going to mess you up.
knowing that it's going to hurt you a lot more than it hurts them. So
Yep. Hey, I noticed when this guy threw for 500 yards against us, twice last year. I noticed that every time we blitzed off of this guy right here with a stunt going over here, I don't know my football shit. I'm just saying words. I noticed every time we did that, we got pressure, and he either took a sack or threw it away. Guess what we're gonna do every other play this time?
yeah, we're gonna do this a lot more. We're gonna third down pressure on first down. We're gonna drop 8 on third down to make him confused as fuck. And then starting in the second quarter, we're gonna revert back. And then in the third quarter, we're gonna go back to what we started at doing. Like the teams do, like especially like Todd Bowles is a good example. Bucks head coach, as a defensive
Hmm.
coordinator, he will throw the wildest concepts at you just to make you be the concept shouldn't even work. He'll drop two defensive ends into a wall two look where they're just trying to wall down a tight end down the fucking field for 30 yards. So you have a defensive end trying to wall a tight end 30 yards down the field just so you can be like, what the hell was that? Do I have to keep looking for that? And that's just a prime example of like defensive coordinators doing things that should not work just to make you go, what?
And then you think about it for the rest of the game.
Yeah. And then you're like, are they doing this again? Uh, Next one is Browns quarterbacks. Everything that I've seen, people are saying that Shador Sanders should start.
I mean, he had a good game. I've seen people saying, well, he was playing a bunch of second stringers. There's like 138 yards, 14 for 23, two touchdowns. He looked a lot better in the pocket to me. There was a couple of times where he did have to scramble, but he didn't do that thing that he did in college a lot, where he would dance to this side of the field and then he would dance to this side of the field, and the whole time he's backing up. He had one time where he went this way and then he had to spin out and he came back all the way across. He probably could have thrown that away a lot sooner because he ended up losing a yard on it. But there was another time where he got out of the pocket, moved, and he just immediately went upfield. He didn't sit there and wait for it.
Yeah.
So
I
I do think he looked a lot better. And then he got hurt this week in practice.
didn't hear about
Dylan
that.
Gabriel got hurt the week before. That's why he didn't play in the game that Shadur played in.
I think the Browns are absolutely
Uh,
cooked. I think,
Deshaun Watson is Deshaun Watson,
yeah. I mean, at one point was considered a generational quarterback, and now he is
a generational diddler.
He's the diddler. He is the diddler. That's diddler. That's
Generational
diddler Watson.
killer.
That is diddler Watson. So that being said, allegedly the diddler. He's allegedly the diddler. That being said, I don't know. I think that I just think they're fun. I don't. I mean, they're going to finish last in their division, not division. Yeah, they're going to finish last in their no their division. Yeah, they're going to finish last in their division. They are. I mean, their defense is incredible. They. I just feel so bad for Miles Garrett. He should not have taken the money. He should have got out. He should have Von Miller. He should have said, "Hey, this team is going to pay me a lot of money, but I'm trying to win. I'm trying to win rings."
This is my team. I promise you guys are my guys. Those guys are offering a lot more money and a chance to actually do what I came here to do, and that was win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's the thing. Teams would offer him less money. But another thing about that is with this quarterback room is I just don't like they have like six quarterbacks on roster right now.
Joe Flacco, Deshaun Watson, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, Shadur Sanders.
And Tyler Huntley.
Did not realize they had
Yeah,
Tyler now.
it's a mess. Going okay, so getting into this sleeper teams. I mean I don't even know if they're a sleeper team. I just feel like no one mentions them when they talk about the NFC. I think the Bucks, maybe just because I'm a Baker Mayfield fan, but the Bucks,
I mean, we're Baker Mayfield people,
yeah,
you know.
the Bucks
That's
are really good, and I
I
just
don't
don't
think
understand how people aren't saying they're like poised to win a Super. I mean, some people are, most people aren't.
I
Um,
don't think that I would definitely wouldn't call him a sleeper. I think people are like, oh, Baker Mayfield's doing something over there. They're working on something.
I don't know.
Um,
I hear more people talk about the Commanders than I hear talk about.
yeah, but thinking from a divisional perspective, I know that they got to be the division favorite. That's all you need for a playoff run. It's just every time they make it, they kind of go mid. Even though 2 years ago they were competing to the last play versus the Lions. So they're kind of at that point where you're just kind of like they're there, but they just got to take that step.
I think
And I
they
think
are going to
everyone
take
thinks
that step. They have a crazy
dude,
good team.
Baker did that interview with the New Heights podcast, and he was like, I can't remember the kid's name that they picked up at wide receiver, but they're like, he's going to be amazing. He's got so much stuff that he's already picked up on. He's so good at already. He's going to be top notch.
Yeah. Hold on one second. One more time.
You just look like you accidentally just shot a live round into your leg by accident. You didn't realize the gun was loaded.
No, I just plugged in the wrong cord for this charger. Okay. You got any
Yeah, I
sleeper
think
teams?
I don't know. I don't know. I
Say
don't
it.
keep track of the NFL that well. I don't pay attention to any preseason shit.
Say
Everyone
the
is
Cowboys.
the,
Say
the
it. I know you
Cowboys.
want to. Yeah, you're gonna say it. Cowboys are gonna go to the Super Bowl.
I
Say
mean,
it.
we are them boys.
Oh yeah.
I'll say
Them
it
boys.
every day. I'll say it every day. I'll go to sleep. We lose 49-13 to the Philly fuckers. And we lose 49-13. I go to my pillow, I cry, I'm sitting there, "Ooh, we're them boys." I'll do it every single time. All right, Cowboys for life. But maybe Jerry Jones, God, excuse me.
Yeah, he
You hear
she
Jerry Jones beat stage 4 cancer?
that actually might be the
Worst
highlight of
news
the
I've heard
season.
all day. I'm like, holy
Yeah.
shit, right?
Yeah, he's gonna live to be 185. And his son
He's
is
gonna outlive my ass.
yeah, his son is gonna be like in the grave, hands open, waiting for the team to be his.
Yep. Yeah.
Gary Jones might be a vampire. Moving on. Final thing. Tailgate. Let's talk about some tailgates. You're the tailgate guy. What are your tailgate basics?
Tailgate basics. All right. First things first. All right. Most important thing to any kind of event, you gotta have drinks. All right. I'm gonna prefer a little bit of alcohol. I'm not a big drinker. I never was a big drinker, but I'm definitely not a big drinker now. But what are your drinks? Are they cold? Are they appropriate? Are they easy to drink? Are they easy to get out? You were talking about doing some mixed drinks earlier. You got to have a crazy setup for doing mixed drinks. I just want to reach into the cooler. It's already cold. I pull it out. I pop a top. I start drinking it. right?
Respect that.
Second, what's the seating arrangement? What are we doing for chairs? What are we doing for comfort? I went to a couple of UFL games with my buddies last year, and we pulled in, we popped the back of the car, we popped the trunk up of a Jaguar, interestingly enough, and he had a cooler, and it was just loaded up with beers, stuff he had just pulled out. Like I got a couple of these, load them nice. We had a couple of beers before we went in the game. That was great. Nowhere to sit though. We were only out there for like 30, 45 minutes, so that's all right. But if you're like, hey, I'm getting out here a couple hours before, got to have some seats, got to have some chairs, got to figure that out. Third for me is going to be food. All right.
Third is
I
food.
want my food, with a few exceptions, I want my food cooked on site. It needs to be something easy for me to eat. I'm talking hot dogs, burgers. I love a brat. Beer brats, if you get a hot fire, pour a couple of beers in there, just have the sliced onions already, throw in your brats. All day. You're making a weird face like you don't like beer brats.
No, I'm focusing. I'm focusing on what I'm imagining
You're
what you're
thinking, you're
saying.
thinking real hard. You're thinking real hard about a fucking
This is
beer
my
brat right
thinking
now.
face. Yeah. This is,
You're
I'm
trying to get a
hungry.
glizzy.
After
You're
this,
thinking
I'm
about
going to go
glizzies
make a
right
peanut
now.
butter and jelly sandwich.
That does sound. Anyways,
We should have a
um,
full
it,
peanut butter jelly tailgate.
dude, honestly,
Peanut butter jelly
we can
sandwiches,
do a lot of experiments.
screwball peanut butter whiskey, grape
Now you
vodka.
lost me. You lost me. Food though, hot dogs, burgers, brats. San Antonio, we're gonna be big on. We can do some tacos and fajitas. All right, you cook that hot, fresh from the grill. You throw those tortillas on there. You got a couple things in the cooler, put on top of it. That's good. That's good. One of the exceptions, because we did it for the Alamo Bowl, we did pulled pork.
You cooked
I
that
stayed up all
previous.
I
Yeah.
stayed up the day before. I made a couple of pork shoulders, pulled them, seasoned them, wrapped them up, put them in the Cambro to keep them hot, and we just like people were walking by and we're like, "You want a sandwich?" And they're like, "Hell yeah, I want a sandwich. How much?" We're like, "We're just giving away sandwiches, dude. Slap together a sandwich, throw them out to people." And we just did that. That was cool. It was hot. It was good.
So
It was quick.
I think tailgate wise, when it comes to food, if you are barbecuing, it unless you have a deal with the stadium security, it has to be done the day before. And
Yeah,
then,
and a lot of people don't understand. There's a lot of good barbecue you can make, wrap it, and just keep it warm. And it's honestly going to be better after it rests for a few hours.
yeah,
All right, just be prepared. You don't want to do anything too, you don't want to get like super crazy. Like I go and then in there, and there's mashed potatoes and corn and steaks, and you got some lobster tails coming out soon. You've done too much.
I think
You've done
if
too much.
you
You've worked too hard.
need, this is my opinion, if you need a utensil or two, if you need a fork and a knife to eat a tailgate food, I think you've missed the point.
I think that's a great metric. If you
I
got if you
need to
if
be able to stand with a beer in my hand,
Yep,
sandwich.
yep. There you go. Yep. I think you've nailed the metric for a tailgate.
Okay,
A couple other things I'll throw out there. A seafood boil. All right. That's could be some work. But
that's tailgate. So
it sounds fun for a tailgate. Another
I don't
thing,
think
you're
that's a
playing,
bad idea at all. I mean, that defeats the metric, but it's all finger food, really. Like you eat everything
now,
with your hands. You just need a plate. And
here's the oh,
you drink. Anytime we do a seafood boil with dad,
you
I'm
have to drink because it's spicy.
I'm just hammered before we even get to food. Like I've already worked. I'm
Exactly.
like moving stuff around, and by the time like the food is done, I am 12 beers deep,
There you go. And you go straight down.
and
You chew on that
it
shrimp whole.
tastes better because of that. I don't know
Exactly.
if dad actually makes good boils because every time I'm drunk, and it does
That's
taste good.
that's pretty good. It's pretty damn good. As the guy that wasn't drinking when he was doing all that.
Oh, we did it not that long ago. Me and some buddies went down and helped them out, and obviously free beer.
Yep.
So we were just It was bad. It was bad. Yeah, I'm not gonna get too much into it. Anyway, keep going.
I'll throw you one more loop and I'll be done with food. This is the big loop. You got all the ingredients prepared ahead of time. You just got to throw it all together, get it going, right? We're tailgating North Dakota State. It's 17 degrees. It's been snowing for 3 days.
Chili.
Soup.
I'd say no to soup. Yes to
Whenever you say yes
chili.
to chili.
Yes to chili.
Now, is North Dakota State chili going to be the chili that we're messing with down here?
So
Because
no, because they don't know what cumin is. But
that's a good point.
no offense to any North Dakota state people that love cumin. Um,
Send me your chili recipe. We'll judge it. I'll make the chili recipe. Send me a
yeah.
good recipe. I'll make it.
If
I'll
you
come
send us
back.
a recipe,
I'll be like, hey, I just let you know I was wrong about North Dakota chili. That stuff was great.
and even though we're from Texas, beans do go in chili where we're
Beans
from.
go in chili. People are like, if you anytime it's like beans don't go in chili, the only thing that goes in chili by your metric, beans don't go in chili, is chili and meat. So when you're adding your fucking tomato or this seasoning or that seasoning or this or that, blah blah blah, you're adding all this other different shit or all that, you've already messed it up. You've gone
Those
wrong. Us
people,
poor people stretch our chili out with beans, all right?
yeah,
And that's the
and
best way to make
also
chili, all right?
those people weren't loved by their parents. So
Yeah, yeah. Hey, you're gonna eat your seasoned beef juice and you're gonna like it, boy. And
yeah,
that's it. It's like, hey, listen, man, throw some bell peppers and onions in there. Throw some kidney beans in there, some pinto beans, whatever you got. Season it up. Stretch it with some tomatoes. It's good. It's good. Now you top it with the cheese and stuff. Oh, it's good.
I couldn't agree more. I think you nailed it. Only thing I'll add to the food is if you cater your tailgate,
If you
I will
cater your
run you
tailgate,
off site. I'll do whatever. I
if
will
you
I will crash my car into your tailgate to end it if I have to. I'll go to jail.
catering, now there are some times you're gonna get a catered tailgate. When you
Massive
go
like
and you pay
events.
yeah, you're going to an event where like some big organization's putting on, like, hey, we're doing it for free. We're going to give out this food, and they'll have a company come in and they'll cook 800, 500,
Yeah.
whatever things, and they'll just be handing them out. And or you tailgate, and you pay $20 to get in, but that's not a tailgate that. And we're going to go check some out for sure. I definitely want to get into the runners tailgate for the UTSA game and go check it out. I don't want to talk shit about them right away. Don't want to talk shit about them at all. It's my team, but that's not the tailgate experience that I'm necessarily looking for.
Yeah.
I'm looking for where I set up and people I've never met before come up and we talk about our team and I talk a little trash to the other team as they're walking by in the parking lot and I'm just giving out food and we're hanging out, we're playing games. That's the fourth element, by the way. What is your tailgate games? Cornhole is always going to hit.
Cornhole.
But having a couple of games that you're going to play there with the buddies while you're drinking and then someone else is handling the food, that makes a great tailgate. But a
On the
catered tailgate, if you're just you're like, oh, if you roll up and you're like, hey, don't worry, guys, I got $400 of KFC for us to eat. I'm not gonna come.
yeah. On the
I'm not
on the
gonna come.
topic of games, the not well I'll let you finish this thought on food first. And I
I'm
apologize.
good. I've said my piece. As a
Yeah,
man
I
that does
just
catering for a living, I better not show up to your tailgate.
yeah, it's catering. It's outside of like those crazy like almost corporate tailgates.
Yeah,
It's
that's a good way to put it. A corporate tailgate.
yeah.
That's not the tailgate that I'm necessarily looking for. I will come and review your tailgate, show me your tailgate. Like, that's pretty cool. I like that. Change my mind. I'm always open, but I'm not a big corporate tailgate guy.
I'm here for the for like the salt of the earth tailgate. You know what I mean? The down the rooted tailgate. Um, games. You said cornhole's a great game. My opinion, number one tailgate game. Drunk, middle aged football.
I'm sorry.
Drunk, middle aged football game.
Just tossing the ball up and down the aisle, Cars trying
Uncle
to park. You're just
Uncle Rico's. You got your Uncle Rico's. You got your. I would have gone to the NFL if I didn't blow my knee out seven
yeah.
times.
We played a semifinal game here in this stadium about 27 years ago.
Yeah,
I think I had about
one
I think I
thousand
had about three,
receiving
four
yards.
hundred yards in that game, and you're like, you didn't start that year. You were on the JV team that year. You didn't make it to varsity.
It's a lot of us. Uh, I feel like you're attacking me. That being said, yeah, I think that cornhole, obviously, another good tailgate game. What do you got?
And this is just because I
Beer pong.
love the game
I'm
in
sorry,
general.
beer pong.
Yeah, exactly. Beer pong. Beer pong, you got to bring your own table, you got to bring cups, and you're putting a lot of beer on that table. But hell yeah, is it gonna if you got the proper setup for a tailgate and you got some beer pong going, honestly, I'm a big beer pong tournament guy. I try to get it happening at my house every year, and we get through the first two rounds, and we never make it through the semifinals. All right, I need a dedicated group. If you're local to South Texas and you down for the beer pong tournament, let me know. I'll show up. I'm not a big drinker. I'll get destroyed on some beer pong. All right, beer pong, cornhole, throwing around the football. Um, gosh, what else was you can't hard to do horseshoes in a parking lot, but you can make it happen. All right.
If you
Maybe
make
they'll
horseshoes happen, I'd be shocked. Also, that's
Well, the great
insane.
thing about the Alamo Dome is there's the premier spots are when you back up your car right up against the road and you back it up so you have your parking spot with the car. You set up your tailgate here, but then you're on the little grass median between the parking lot and the sidewalk, and it's pretty wide. You set up all your chairs, you set up your game, horseshoes, boom, you got it going.
Hmm. There's a lot of tailgate games. We'll get in more into the tailgate games moving forward
I want to
another
see your
day.
tailgate games. Send me your tailgate games.
Yeah, tailgate games, tailgate setups, tailgate seating arrangements, tailgate drinks. What's your go-to? Tailgate
Yep.
coolers. How big is your tailgate cooler? And also, what are you eating at the tailgate? Is it the same thing every time, or do you mix it up? Do you have tailgate themes? Tailgate themes underrated. Does it match the
Tailgate themes, tailgate traditions.
tailgate traditions? So all of that encompassing, what do you think makes tailgates beautiful?
It is the immersion into the atmosphere. It's the people you're going to hang out with. It is, hey, I've never met this guy in my life. I've never talked to this guy in my life. I don't know anything about him. I don't know his politics. I don't know his religion. I don't know any of his decisions in life, but he's wearing the same color I'm wearing.
So he's my best friend.
And he brought me a beer. I'm gonna hand him two brats, and we are gonna literally be. He's gonna be my best friend for the next 3 hours before we go into that game. Oh my God, we ended up sitting next to each other. Hey, it's Rick from the tailgate. Hey, it's John from the railgate, the tailgate. We're best friends. This is my best friend ever. You go back out, the game's over, the team won. Some dude you were talking to at the tailgate, you never saw him. He's been passed out in your truck for the entire game. You missed the whole thing. You just had. Some tailgates are so good you don't even go to the game. You just hang out.
Especially if your team
You have a
sucks.
good time. You enjoy the atmosphere.
Oh yeah.
Imagine, and I don't think I've seen it anywhere else in any other sport really, where you go and you hang out pre-game and you never actually make it to the event. Have you ever been and seen a basketball tailgate and then people didn't actually make it inside to the game?
I've never even seen a basketball tailgate.
100%. Football, there's people who are like, hey, we got four TVs set up. And the big one right there, that's where we're going to broadcast the game that you're going to hear behind you in about 2 hours. And then we'll have a couple other games on. It's 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 such a insane, crazy, but amazing atmosphere going around. All these people. Sometimes talk a little trash. Sometimes people talk too much trash, so you got to say mean things to them. Um, Calling you out, Texas State juniors and seniors. All right, they were real rude to me. All right, I had to call them out on their daddy issues. Besides the point, though, I didn't let them ruin the great vibes of their tailgate that they were hosting. All
Bring a
right.
gun next time. No, I'm joking. That was a joke.
Don't do
That's a
that.
joke.
Don't do that because I'll have to leave it outside the stadium, and then that's a problem. But
Only if you get
it's
caught.
such an awesome, awesome atmosphere. Um, you're talking to people, you meet people. It's hey, that guy's wearing the same color jersey as me. I'm gonna give him a free food. He's gonna give me a beer. That guy's not wearing the right color jersey. I'm gonna jab at him a little bit. He's gonna jab at me a little bit, and then we're gonna laugh it off. I'll give him some free food anyways. Hey man, I'm glad you're here. This is gonna be awesome. You helped build this great environment that all leads up into the sporting event that I'm gonna go and lose my mind at.
That's all.
Hopefully lose my mind at because my team does well and it's a good game. So to me, that's what makes tailgates
I
great.
completely agree with you. I'm less experienced in tailgating, but I agree with you. So, all of that being said, that's the show. We did it. That's episode 1. Many more to come. Um, we're going to be going to the UTRGV opening season, or really inaugural game. So, first game in the
Mhm.
history of UTRGV. We'll be there on the 31st of August. Um, we're
30th.
definitely going to be going to more games this year. Um, we will update everybody when we figure out what games we're going to. Um, you can follow us on Tailgate Sports Media, pretty much on every social media there is. We have one, I think. We have a Facebook.
I
Uh,
got a Facebook set up.
we have a Twitter.
I haven't touched Twitter. I haven't touched Instagram. I can get on it, but I haven't touched it yet. But right now, Tailgate Sports Media on Facebook is the best place to follow us. It's where I'm going to have the easiest access to immediately respond and kind of be on top of that. But as we get things going, we're going to be expanding it going. If you guys are like, hey, it's a lot easier for me to follow here, then we'll handle all of that.
Yeah,
And then we'll
message
have
us
some stuff.
there if you have questions. If you want to send us some tailgate info, any football info, or any have a we're probably even down to have a conversation with you because we have no lives. Sort of. Uh,
The comments full about how Chile doesn't have beans.
yeah, it's gonna be beautiful. Other than that, yeah, that's episode 1. I'm Peyton. That's Devin. We're gonna be doing this thing every week, especially during football season. Every Friday we'll be coming out through football season. Probably have some days off. Um, I'm I might not be here all the time. You will be here all the
Of
time.
job commitments. I'll be here, and as we get rolling into that kind of time of year where you might be out, I'll get some people to come hang out with me here in my office.
There you go. And then you will have a real studio, and I'll probably be down there at some point with you. We'll be able to make that happen. But yeah, so that's it. That's episode 1. We did it. Thank you guys for watching.
Later.